You know how I want to start this? Here we go again. All right, y'all. Nobody appreciated that. Welcome back to Level Up at Lunch. I couldn't put this off. I'm almost done. This is my liquid lunch. But before we jump into today's episode, I got a confession to make. If you notice the color of this rag, it's really green. And that's because this isn't my first cup. This is my second cup. And the second cup spilled everywhere, all over the floor, the counter, all inside of my silverware drawer. And it just reminds me of a simple point that I want to give you before we even start. Don't start life with the second cup. Let people see how much you messed up. Like, there is a lesson in the mess. You know what the lesson was that I learned? Slow down. Take a minute to process what you're doing. Got so excited and ready to come and spend time with my family at the Level Up lunch hour that I knocked my cup over and it spilled everywhere. But far too many of us do what I did. When I knocked the cup over, I froze. You want to know why I froze? Because it wasn't any old cup. Man, I had my organic greens, my superfood, my sea moss, and I froze because this was an expensive cup. Have you ever made an expensive mess? When you make an expensive mess, part of the reason why you freeze and you can't respond is because your brain is trying to process, how do I recoup the cost? Have you been on the phone with someone and it's been a complete waste of your time? And part of the reason you can't get off is because you're trying to figure out how to get the time back you already gave. Well, listen, I just wanted to encourage you. Just because you make a mess, even when it's an expensive mess, doesn't mean that life doesn't move on. So after I got over myself, I mopped it up. But I wanted to make sure I showed you the evidence of my failure. That's all. I don't know who that was for. Stop hiding your mess. Let somebody know you didn't always have it right. You spilled a couple of times and it cost you. But you're on your second cup and all is well. Well, look, that's not even what I wanted to talk about today. It's good today. I want to talk to you about a white lie. I started asking myself, who invented the term? Where did the idea of a white lie come from? And then I want to ask you, is there ever a time when it's very wise not to be completely honest? No, put that in the chat room. Start dropping some comments. I really want to know your thoughts. I'll come back later and give you some feedback if you take a second to just drop some nuggets, something that you're getting from our time. By the way, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, call your friends, tell them to come on, we got some good food going on at lunch. We're talking about a white lie. For example, when your lady comes to you and says, how does this dress look on me? Fellas, you already know there isn't but one answer. You look marvelous. Now, the truth of the matter is you can't completely tell the truth, because to tell the truth means that you got to go to war. It's not worth it. But I'm thinking from a more of I just want to be honest. Like, is it okay to tell a white lie? My son, the topic got started because my son and I were in the car today, and he said, Dad, I just want you to drop me off. I'm going to run in here and get a signature because he needed community service hours for his senior year to complete the requirements for graduation. So he says, I don't need to stay. I just need a signature. So I did a double take. I said, huh? What do you mean you don't need to stay? Well, I just need a signature. I said, listen, if I'm hearing you correctly, you want me to drop you off to collect a signature for work that you don't plan on doing. And he argued and got defensive, wanted to go back. I said, ho. I said, first and foremost, I don't want to come off as self-righteous because I understand that under the pressure of the moment, we're all persuaded to contort the truth to justify our actions. But the truth of the matter is, when you make a habit of making small lies, you make it easier for you to make big lies. And I said, before you lie to anybody, you practice lying to yourself. I said, here's what I won't do. I said, I will not drop you off to get a signature for work you don't plan on doing. That if you put your name down for the hours, then I'm expecting you to complete the hours. I said, I'm trying to work on this thing called integrity, son, because you are only as strong as your weakest deficiency. That's the conversation we had. That's how this started. But then I thought about it. I had to be honest. Under the pressure, under the microscope, there are times when I can't say that it just didn't seem to be worth the cost, to be completely honest. Which leads me to a white lie. And what is it? And why do we do it? And I want to share a scenario with you. This is not to make light of anybody's pain. This was on CNN, so I'm just sharing the news. And I want to have a dialogue around this. But I want you to check out Rachel Dolezal. Here's the bottom line. She was the NAACP leader, and she was white. And she pretended to be, or to appropriate, an ethnicity that was not true of who she really was. And so I want you to take a look at this, because these are her parents.
This story is
giving feedback.
Strange. It just doesn't seem to make sense. You've provided us a birth certificate of Rachel's. You've given us family photos of Rachel. Why is your daughter then pretending to be black?
We can't answer that question for her. She has not explained to us why she is doing what she's doing and being dishonest and deceptive with her identity.
This is your daughter, though. Why do you think she's pretending?
Well, basically, bottom line, we're just saying that we're confirming the truth. We are her birth parents. And
y'all already knew I was going to do this. By the way, just in case you didn't catch it, her parents are very white. Like, they're real white. It's not like, okay, anyway, I'm not even sure how we got here. But, all right, check this out.
We do not understand why she feels it's necessary to misrepresent her ethnicity.
Now, this has clearly been going on for a while. When did it start?
It started kind of gradually, maybe around 2007 or so, but we first heard about her claims to be African American from a newspaper article from the Spokane, Washington area, and that was the first we knew she was doing it. She has never claimed to be biracial or African American in our presence.
She's risen to be a leader, as we see. I mean, she's the president of the local chapter of the NAACP. She's risen to be a leader in the African-American community in Spokane. Why, you say the first time you heard about her misrepresenting herself was from a newspaper, when a newspaper article came out. Is that why you haven't spoken out before?
Well, this newspaper article that I'm referring to was some years ago, but Rachel has not wanted to have contact with us. And so we haven't communicated with her about this.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm sorry. Wow. Can you imagine the look on her parents' face when they saw the picture with her hair and their complexion? Like, can I be honest? Oh, what you think? I mean, she can pass as one of us. But my question isn't even about her ethnicity. It's really what was going through her mind that she felt the need to appropriate a culture that was not hers. Or to pretend to be, forget the culture, pretend to be somebody she's not. Well, I don't want to focus on that on this episode of Level Up. But I do want to highlight a word that her parents said so clearly. When did this start? Well, it happened gradually. Do you see how that works? When you start telling yourself a lie and you're under pressure and you have to make a choice between honoring the sense of what's right or betraying the sense of what's right, somewhere along the line, she decided to betray this sense of what's right, go to war within herself, and the first person she betrayed was herself. It caused her to become comfortable with justifying her actions. Whenever we betray ourselves, we gotta find a way to justify our actions, and usually we create a narrative, a story, an argument, something that makes sense to us that we haven't proof checked against anybody else's mind. Because had she ran that past her parents, I'm sure they would have quickly reminded her of who she was. That's why sometimes you need some people in your circle don't have no cut cards. They're going to tell you right off the bat. That might be the dumbest thing I ever heard you say, and the dumbest thing you thinking to do, don't do it. But you notice she cut them off. That's part of how you justify your actions, or we do, or I do. It's human nature. You don't want anybody in your circle who might disrupt your betrayal. It's just food for thought. Well, let me give you just another example. In Genesis chapter 20, verse 2, Abraham is the father of our faith. Like Abraham, he's on the Mount Rushmore of biblical leaders. He's on his way to Egypt, and to protect his family, he can't disclose that Sarai is his wife. So he said, because in this culture, in this time, if a foreign official finds out that you are married to a woman he wants, he takes her. So to protect the family, Abraham said that this is my half-sister. Now, technically, he was spot on because they shared the same father but different mothers. Don't even get into that. I already know where you went. We just stick with the story. Same father, different mothers. But under the pressure and in the moment, Abraham presented a part of the truth that was in the best interest of all. God, when you read the story, you'll never hear God say he lied or he was wrong. God literally steps in, corrects the foreign official, and makes sure he doesn't touch Sarai. And when Abraham and his wife Sarah get back together, God made sure that the king of Egypt broke them off with some extra funds. Don't even ask. How does that work? Here's what I caught on to in the story. The reason why it even sticks out, because when you put this moment under pressure against the backdrop of who Abraham is, he is the father of our faith. He is faithful. God called him righteous. See, the issue is it stuck out because this was not consistent with who Abraham was, but it was a part of the narrative. What I like about God, he doesn't hide the mess. He shows it for what it is. But see, because Abraham was consistently right, this moment under pressure where a partial truth was given sticks out in the eyes and the mind of the reader. It's as if you hear about somebody that you know loves the color red, and then out of nowhere, they choose a color white. And you say to yourself, they always love red. Why white? Well, the point is that Abraham's choice in this situation was an exception to the rule, but it was not normative of him to deviate from what's right. Here's the point for you and I. There may be times under pressure where we struggle with telling the whole story. Just don't make a habit of allowing the exception to become the rule. Because when you do this day in, day out, gradually, it becomes easier for a small lie to become a big one. And when that happens, a white lie can become real dark overnight. Man, well, that's it for Level Up. That's all you get for today at lunch. I hope this helped you. If you run into your coworker, tell them they don't want to miss our times together. And if you tempted to tell a white lie, just think, is this the norm? Is this the exception? Or is this the rule? Because if it is, I'm in trouble. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. I would pick back up my green smoothie, but I couldn't help myself. I finished it all. Enjoy your lunch. Enjoy your day. I'll connect with you soon.